more of a circumstance around their loss with Kelly Bryant leaving in the first half and just a 3-point loss versus a 34-point loss.
Just a dominant game, too.
Yeah.
Every single aspect.
There is a scenario in which Washington State can finally, can try to wiggle their way back in, but with the way they performed, I would not bet against them going unbeaten the rest of the way. I would say they at least have 2 more losses on their schedule. Definitely at Washington, and then versus Stanford, I don't think they can stop the run that well. So
we'll see if one of the Dubs can make the playoffs. I think Washington now has the bigger chance, the only chance, and I'd love to see Washington back in the playoffs. I really like their team.
Yeah, they're Pac-12's last best hope, and I think they do it. I think they're kind of a tier above the rest of the teams in the Pac-12. I don't think there's another team that can really stop what they want to do. Myles Gaskin, one of the top rushers in Washington Husky history now. I think he's trying to approach on number 1 in career rushing yards. And I forget who said it. Someone on Twitter, one of the top writers for college football, said, I'm just gonna assume that any team out west with Chris Peterson is the team out west to beat. Whether it's Boise State when he was there, now Washington. Chris Peterson, he had a kind of not a rough but underachieving first year, but now I think this is his 3rd year in Washington. He has turned them into a powerhouse, and it's interesting to see because Washington, they had some runs back, when I was really little and you weren't even born, I believe, but
talking about those 80s?
Those early 90s.
Wild 89
yeah,
that you had?
Exactly. Oh, dang. I barely remember. It's just a fever dream.
Just way too much milk?
Yeah, way too much tainted milk. But now they're the powerhouse in the Pac-12 when they've taken over from teams like USC and Stanford and Oregon. So the one hurdle they have to clear is at Stanford November 10th. So that's going to be their main game they have to circle and be prepared for, but I think they get it done. I think Pac-12 is represented once again by the Huskies.
All right, we are going to take another break. When we come back, we'll talk about some NFL. Some of the big football players. The college guys are just big. The NFL players are big.
Super big.
We're going to talk how Carson Wentz's Eagles are the real deal, and they proved that on Thursday night.
Yep.
And then we'll preview some games such as Niners, Redskins, Dolphins, Falcons, Bears, Ravens, Patriots, Jets. God, I hope I see the Patriots lose to the Jets. That will be
that would be sweet.
That would make my life. But first, we got some Chicago for you.
All right.
We'll be back in a few minutes, people.
Waiting for the break of day.
Trop House coming at you.
I'm feeling it. It's either the Trop or the
Wait for Chris.
Now back to the clutch with Clupp and Fletch.
Clupp and Fletch. I like that. Oh.
I feel like I'm on a cloud. Yeah.
All right.
Floating.
What's going on, Clutchers?
Haha, yeah.
I am Ben Fletcher, sitting alongside my boy, Alex Klepper.
Alejandro Clupeños.
That one, yep.
Yep.
Same guy, one and the same, actually.
Yes. Many different people.
Thursday night football.
Yeah. Wow.
Carson Wentz, you're the man.
Really is.
You outshined Cam Newton, who is coming off his 2 best weeks in a couple years, at least, since this MVP season. And you just showed him what you had.
Yeah, no, great game, just in general, competitive game. Didn't watch the whole thing because I was mainly watching Game 5 of the Cubs and Nationals. But I did flip to this whenever the commercial break was on. And Carson Wentz...
You got to get the Waz 2 screens going, because I was watching both games. It was great.
No, I know. I got to get the tablet out, although both tablets, I believe, in my house are broken. Thanks, kids. But, you know, Carson Wentz, so far in the season... five games? There are 5? No, 6 games. So 5-1, 1,584 yards, 13 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. He does have 5 fumbles. I don't think he's lost all those. But quarterback rating right around 100, 99.6. For a guy who came out of an FCS program in North Dakota State, and granted, the top FCS program in the country, former 5-time in a row FCS champion before they lost last year.
You know how you know that you're a FCS announcer?
What?
You know things about the FCS.
I do. We can talk about the Missouri Valley Football Conference all day if we want to.
I would not. That would be a solo show.
Yeah,
I would not be interested.
You'd just
in
be like,
returning.
well, I've heard of that team. Yeah, that sounds good. James Madison, watch out for James Madison, defending champs. Anyways, I think they were on what's it called, the college football morning show.
Did you see what the poster said? It was like JMU beat this person, and then it went down a line of like 15 teams.
Exactly.
And finally got to
Alabama.
This person beat Alabama,
That's right.
Therefore JMU beat Alabama.
Hey.
Number 1 team in the nation, FCS, baby.
All right, I'm going to put a line of 31 on that game. 30 Alabama by 31. I'm going to take
Alabama.
JMU. Yeah, possibly. But no, Carson Wentz played great. Only 16 of 30, but he did have 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
On the flip side, Cam had what, 3 interceptions?
3 interceptions. He threw the ball 52 times, which is kind of insane. And Tony Romo,
that guy is the best announcer in football right now.
He is so good. So freaking good. Anytime I turn on a game and I forget that he's calling it, and I remember, obviously when I hear his smooth, silky voice, I'm like, yeah, I'm excited to learn something about football because he really is amazing at, one, diagnosing what is about to happen in a play. Like, okay, look out for this. This is going to happen.
And he's always right. I've yet to see him be wrong.
Always right. And he's also just really good at analysis. Like, okay, this is what's happening here. He doesn't want to, he's not a guy who's like, well, this tackle's pulling this way and you got to get in the A gap and then flush out the B gap. He's just like, no, okay, this is, he says it in layman's terms, but he does it really well in articulately.
You gotta articulate that one.
He articulated it quite well, yeah. And he also has the excitement. Like, he is like, oh no.
That guy loves football, and you can tell by listening. And I feel like I've been watching a lot of football this year just because I feel like prepping for the show takes a lot. You got to really watch a lot. Every game Romo announces, that is what the volume is up on for me.
Yeah.
And I'll have Sunday Ticket going in the background, but I want to hear Romo because I'm learning more about football when that guy's talking.
Yeah.
And he doesn't put it, like you just said, he doesn't put it in terms that only football people would understand. He puts it in terms that everyone will understand. Yeah. And never playing football, I don't understand the playbook. I don't understand anything. I understand his talk.
Yeah.
Because he puts it, it's an explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah.
And I just.
That's great.
And he's always right.
Yeah, always right. But so that was trying to lead into, he was saying the difference between the Eagles and the Panthers so far is the Eagles can run the ball consistently and the Panthers can't. Which you're looking at the Panthers running game. Cam Newton had 11 carries for 71 yards and a touchdown, so he did well. I don't understand Christian McCaffrey only getting 4 carries for 8 yards. I mean, it's not working.
He's not a rusher.
No, but they should try. Getting your running backs. Okay, so Jonathan Stewart had 8 carries for -4 yards. Obviously, not good. Fozzie Whitaker, 1 carry for -3 yards. Not good. Curtis Samuel, 1 carry for 8 yards. That's pretty good. Christian McCaffrey, 4 carries for 8 yards.
But
you need to at least try.
He had 10 catches. And he scored a touchdown.
No, I understand. I'm not saying he was underutilized, because he wasn't. He was targeted 14 times. But in order to put a defense like Philly's, which is a phenomenal defense, I think they're number 2 against the run in the entire NFL behind Denver, you need to try some new things. You need to try to branch out a little bit. You can't just say, okay, well, Cam Newton's going to throw the ball 52 times, because that's not what got you to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Cam Newton was a great quarterback that year. He was the MVP, but he was not the guy who's going to throw the ball 50 times like Drew Brees or Tom Brady, and that's how you win the games. No, they were predicated on running the ball and big plays by Cam Newton, both passing and rushing. But 52 attempts, I mean, that is too many for Cam Newton, especially for a game where you only lost by 5 points. Like, I would understand if you're down by 21 at different points in this game, you have to throw to try to make some big plays, but try to put some attrition into that Philadelphia defense. I mean, I don't want to sound like too much of a Cal Poly homer, but running the ball a lot helps weaken that defensive line, and it opens up passing plays for the rest of the team. So running the ball only 12 times with your main 2 running backs is too little.
Yeah,
I mean,
by the end of the game, Philly was literally just putting people back. They were hardly even rushing anymore. It was just, all right, we're going to pick Cam off a couple more times because we can.
Yeah, and one of those was a deflection. So they're not all Cam's fault, but Ron Rivera, he needs to figure out what the best concoction for that offense is, because their defense has been awesome, but now with Luke Kuechly possibly out for more games with a concussion, that feel bad for him. Because
did you see the play?
Yeah,
it was rough.
Yeah, it wasn't. I will say this as like a faint, not praise, but a faint. Like, it wasn't too bad. It was not as bad as some of the other concussions that Luke Kuechly has gotten. Like, there was one, I think, last year or 2 years ago where he got hit. You're like, oh, God, no. And he was, like, bawling. It was just a really bad sight. This one is like, okay, yeah, it doesn't look good, but it wasn't like the one before that I'm thinking of, I don't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago. The one before, I'm like, that could be his career. But no, he's still out there playing. He's still playing like a boss, doing his thing, but hopefully he can come back soon, because he's only 26 years old still. I mean, my God, he's like almost a Hall of Famer at this point already. So Philadelphia, awesome. An awesome blend of being able to pass the ball to Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, Zach Ertz and company, and then running the ball. LeGarrette Blount, he
looked better than he did with the Patriots.
For a guy who was thrown on the scrap heap 3 or 4 years ago by the Steelers and then picked up by the Patriots, he has really been able to keep his career going quite well. And I'm glad to see it, because I like LeGarrette.
I want to talk about Zach Ertz real quick. And Zach Ertz, fantasy value. Guy caught 2 dang passes.
Yeah.
And I'm playing against my girlfriend this week in fantasy football, which that's issues in and of its own. I had Cam Newton. She had Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
2 catches, 2 touchdowns. The heck, man.
Yeah,
at least
not good.
It doesn't make me feel good, because he's not even getting targeted in the main field. And then just